Yes, people, Grand Rising. Open alright out there. Well, again, come back, and again, we're doing reading again, right? Because that's what we do over here. Reading. That's all we do over here, reading. Nothing else. Now, we rise with the crow them, the birds them, and the chicken them this morning. I was out here early this morning. Whether people is here or not, we're here. And again, we teach reading again. Now, I was on this topic last night, and I said that I am not leaving this topic for a minute. So, I am back with it again, and those who miss what was done can basically see what was done. So, reading. How reading work? Reading work by putting sounds together, right? So, in this position right here, so you have a sound. In this position right here, you have another sound. And in this position right here, you have another sound. So it is all of those sounds combined that gives you whatever word it is. But for you to get the word, you have to put the sounds together, right? Now, let's say for example, we use this letter L, right, as a consonant. We have two things right here now where we can read. We have two things right here where we can now put together, right? This is in a basic form. This is the basic, right? So it's in the basic form. Now, all you would need to know to read this is you would need to know the sound of this letter, and you would need to know the sound of this letter. Thereby, when you put both of them together, that is how you would end up getting the word, or you would end up reading what the word is by reading it from the sounds. So the sound for this letter L is L, right? And even when you say L, if you hold the last part of the L, you realize that you're making the pronunciation of the letter L, which is L. The pronunciation of the letter L is L, right? Now we have L, now we have A. Greetings, Lalabelle. Hope you're alright. Now we have L, now we have A. So for us to be able to read this, we have to put L and A together and combine it so that it forms one thing, right? So you have one thing over here and another thing here, and you combine it. Boom. Give you one. So, la. And that completes the reading process. La. Making the sound for this, making the sound for that. Right? La. Now, before we read la, we could have said la. Because I could have said la la. But I never had to read that before I could have said it. I could have said it before I read it. Which means that I could have also do what? Segment the sounds that I am hearing. I can say la, and I can stretch out that word as long as possible. And hold those sounds so that it emphasizes on what sound is being made. La. La. La la la. Right? Just by emphasizing it, I can get to the L and I can get to the A. Now, let's say that I have a letter T right here, so it don't change the principle. Right? The reading principle still remains the same. The principle is not changed. The vowel is not changed. The only thing that we do is we add an extra sound to it now, right? So we already add la. Now we add an extra sound out here, so to the end of it. So now we have lat, because now we have to include that sound right there, so, and make a sound for that letter right there, so. Because this is a new letter right there, so, right? And it has a sound that it makes. So we have to now include that in it, right? We can remove this from t, right? And we can change it to something else. This is called substitution. So I substituted the letter T for the letter P. And I can do that in many different ways. I never have to use P. I could have used M. I could have used S. I could have used L again. Right? So, the point what I'm showing you is this. When you use the CVC method, it creates what we call a closed group syllable. Syllables, knowing to deal with the syllables are important. So I have the closed group syllable, and it already tells us how to deal with these vowel that comes in the middle of a word. They are going to make their short vowel sound. The short vowel sound for this is A. But one thing I would say is that remember that this is English. And whenever English speak about rules and stuff like that, you have to remember that the rules sometimes get violated, which means they violate their own rule. So they will say, for example, whenever the letter E or I comes after a letter C, it must make a sound like a S. But there are times where they are exempted from doing that. So sometimes you have an exception to the rule. So while this is true, also bear in mind that there are exceptions to the rule that can change the way it sounds. So they're telling you one thing, but they're doing another thing. Right? So we have la, and the sound for this is p, lap, 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 lap. Now, one thing that you might not know is that if you can already say the word, even if you cannot read the word, if you can already say it without even looking at the word, right? It means that you would have to put this sound, and that sound together in that specific order. 1, 2, 3. In that specific order, you would have to put the sounds together in that specific order. Is anybody here who don't understand what I am saying? Is anybody here who it doesn't make sense to what I am saying? Thank you for liking the live, guys. I hope you can like it some more. For the others who are not liking the live, I hope you guys can like it as well, so that we can wake up the people this morning, because, you know, people for wake. Now, we can change this P to another letter. Let's put a look at M over here, so, right? Next time we are going to change this one over here, so. But we have la up to this point, right? La. Now, what sound does this letter make? You would have to know. If you want to read that word, you would have to know what sound that letter make. Now, if you don't know, we will have to teach you. We will have to tell you. We will have to guide you. Right? We will have to come up with some way for you to know what sound that letter make. Now, we come up with this way and say, alright then, whenever you eat the food and you it nice, you just rub your belly and say, right? We can get to that sound. Now, If that sound is right? Now have la, lamb. The word it create is lamb. La, lamb. Because we want to fuse everything together at once. We don't want to make it sound separate. We don't want to say because that is not reading. That is segmenting. So if we say it don't matter how fast you say it. It's not that is segmenting. So listen, but listen to how it's different when it read. La, la. You hear how it flows different because there is a difference the way how it flows. La, you hear a break in it. La. You don't hear a break in it. Lamb. You don't hear a break. Right? Now, we can create any way. Anywhere that we want to create. It don't matter. All we're focused on is consonants. And let me write this in so because some people don't know Z if you don't put that in there. So, what I am saying is that the principle is not changing. The principle remains the same, and it will stay the same, and it will continually stay the same. For today, for tomorrow, for next week, next year, next month, it don't matter, right? Now, what sound does this letter make right here? So, that letter is making the sound Z, right? Now, it sounds that way because I am emphasizing it. Emphasizing it means that I am making it sound for a longer duration than would normally sound if I was just using the word if I was just talking a word, right? I am emphasizing this because I want you to hear and I want you to practice as well, and I want you to do it as well, right? And when you make this sound, if you make this sound and you have what we call, if you put your hand on your throat, right? If you rest your finger, just your finger, if you rest your finger on your throat, what would that mean is that you would feel a vibration saying zzz. You would feel like it's vibrating. Zzz. That is one indication to know if you're making the sound correct or not. Because if it does not vibrate, it means that you wouldn't be making the sound correctly. The vibration also helps you to know if you're making the sound correctly or not. Now, again, this is because I'm telling myself this week, I'm not change it. I'm not going to tired of this. I'm not going to tired of it, but I'm not going to get to love it, and I'm not going to see how impactful it is going to be. Right? We are dealing with consistency and stableness. That is what we want. This is Z, this is A. Za. 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 So you don't hear me say Z-A and try to say it fast. Z-A. Z-A. It's still segmented. I isolated this first, then this. But I do it quick. But what I want to do is to make it glide and flow. Za. You don't hear a pause. You don't hear a break. Za. Zam. Zam. Zam is a different. So people, in the comment section, tell me if you're hearing the difference when you say zam, or when you say zam. Tell me if you're hearing a difference there. Sorry. Just let me know if you're hearing a difference in the comment section. Wonderful. There is a difference. Because one of them is segmenting and one of them is actually blending. So one of them is actually reading, right? That would amount to talking. And one of them is actually doing it part by part, breaking it part by part. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to take some letters from the comment, right? If you notice, we never remove that letter A because it is going to stay there. We never see A this morning so till Uno just decides, you know what, me just jump off this live because me not remove it. Somebody give me another consonant from the chat. Consonant, vowel, consonant. Somebody give me another consonant, right? Now I have M. Now, it creates a word when we put the sounds together, right? And I can tell you the word, but I am not telling you the word because I am telling you the word. I am telling you the word because now I want you to pay attention. Now I want you to listen, right? You can even close your eyes for this one because there's nothing that you'll be looking at, right? So you can literally sit down in your comfort space whether it is in your car, whether it is in your house, whether it is on your house top, whether you're at work now. As long as you feel comfortable in your environment, you can close your eyes and say Sam. Just say Sam. Now, when you say Sam, what you probably don't know is happening is you're making the pronunciation of the letters you would normally see when you're reading. So when you say Sam, if you can emphasize on the first sound a little bit more, then that would be beneficial to you. So the word is Sam. Sam. So what is the first sound I am hearing when I call the word Sam? I can stress out that. I can emphasize on that. I can make that hold as long as possible, right? So right then and there, before you even decide to say, make me go try read, you're already making the proper pronunciation for this letter. You don't know it, you know. You don't know that is what you're doing, you know. But that is exactly what you're doing. You don't understand and you're not aware that that is what you're doing, but it is entirely what you're doing. Now, let's continue moving forward. You say, and you stress out that and you get it. And you say, that sound like a S, man. Let me write down the letter S for that. Right? You move on and the second sound you hear, it's like a journey, right? It's like a journey. The first sound you picked up on, the second sound you picked up on, the third sound you picked up on is a journey, right? Boom. You say it again. Sa. Sa. Now you're starting to hear a new sound. You hear the S again, but this time you hear another sound added to it. Sa. Ah. Ah. So now you're hearing a change of sound. That change of sound brings you now into what? It brings you into another sound. So this is another sound from this. It brings you into another jurisdiction. Right? Now we have two sounds that we make the correct pronunciation of that we never knew we can make the correct pronunciation of. Right? So now we have sa. That's two. Now we're going forward again. And then now we say Sam. Some. I will hold on to the last one. I will remember say, when the food nice, rub your belly. I will say, some. I will hold on to it. Now, what I am telling you and what I am showing you is that you may not be able to read this word that you're seeing on the board right now. But does that mean you cannot read? No. You may not be able to read the word that you see on the board right now. But does that mean you don't know the correct pronunciation of these sounds? No. It don't mean you don't know the correct pronunciation. Because if you can say the word Sam, you already made the correct pronunciation of those letters. You just don't know. So now you need to become aware. Now you need to become aware. Can you become aware? How can you become aware? Now you would have to go to somebody who knows what they're doing. Now you'd have to go to somebody who knows what they're saying. Now you would have to find some reading teacher or some expert or some specialist or somebody who teach reading now for break it down for you to show you. Now that is what I come here and do with you guys every single time. I come and I tell you guys the steps. I tell you guys the rules. I show you so many things that you probably have never known before. Right? I show you how to apply them. I show you how they apply. Now, it's in your best interest, if you're interested, to go and practice the things that I show you guys. It is in your best interest to go and practice the things that you learn right here, so. Right? Now, this is the kiddie stage. This is the most basic stage. We want to up the notch a little bit. So this is what we're going to do. Rather than taking single letters, now we're going to take digraph blends, and now we're going to take consonant digraph. Right? What does that mean? Consonant digraph mean two letters coming together to make one sound. Right? So even though it is two letters, it's not two sounds it's making. It still fit within this criteria of consonant, vowel, consonant. It still work the same. Because this don't change. Because it falls into a closed group syllable. Right? So rather than just learning about this thing, rather than just learning about, what should I say now? I don't even know. But guys, it might seem like it's not effective, but it's not effective if you don't try. That's the only way for it to not be effective. What sound does this letter make? It's not just this letter anymore. It's now a group. Right? But these two letters still make a sound. Now, when you're in the library or when you're in class and the teacher wants it to be quiet, the teacher rests her finger or his finger on the mouth or the lips and say what? Shh. Because they want it to be quiet. Question: does anybody understand what I am talking about? Does anybody know what I am talking about? Does anybody have ever gone through that before? Because I don't want to assume so you know what I'm talking about. So just let me know. Grand Rising Charlene, hope you're alright. I want to know if I am the only person who that happened with, so that I don't assume, right? So if you can just type in the comment, let me know. When somebody wants it to be quiet, they put their finger on their lips and they say, shh. Now, what you don't know is that that is a sound that is used in talking. that is a sound that is used in reading. That is a sound that is used every single day of your life. That sound is made every single day of your life. Right? And I can prove it to you. Now, when you say shh, tell me how many sounds you hear when you hear that sound. Are you hearing 3 sounds? Are you hearing 4 sounds? How many sounds are you hearing when somebody says shh? Peter says he's hearing 2. Ali says they're hearing 1. Paka is hearing 1. Anybody else? The sound shh. How many sounds are you hearing? Charlene says 2. Country says 2. Now, one of the reasons why you're tempted to say 2, right, is because you're looking at 2 letters. Looking at 2 letters does not mean that it is making 2 sound. Listen again, right? For Charlene, for Peter, for anybody else, Glamcare, for anybody else who says 2, you don't even need to have your eyes open for this. You only need to have your ears open. So you yourself can make it. You don't need to look at what you're saying. You can say it and not look, because it's your mouth that's saying it. It's your voice, and you can't look by your mouth unless you are looking at the mirror, which would be a reflection of your mouth. Now, you have your finger up on your lip, and you close your eyes and you say shh. It might sound like a long duration, right? Which means it start over here, so, and it never stopped till it reach over here, so. But did it change? Did it actually change? You have to have the ability to hear the sound that you're making, however long it is being made, right? And not change. So that one sound shh is still one sound. Now watch what happens when I change it to a, right? Sha. You hear a difference in tone, a difference in tune, the rhythm change, the tone change, the sound changes. Sha, sha, sha. It's not but sha. You hear it flows together. It flows smoothly. Sha. So for those who get 2 sounds, you're tempted to get 2 sounds only because you're looking at 2 letters. But what you're seeing is not always true. What you're seeing is not always true. Right? Now, the ability to hear the sounds are important. Because, for example, you could get a word like this, right? But it would have been prior to your ability to listen, right? Because you would have gotten words like ship. You would have gotten words like shop. You would have gotten words like show. You would have gotten a word like shoe, right? So these words are consistent with the sound in the beginning. Ship, shop, show, shoe, and the list go on and on. And I'm sure that you guys can type in the comment and tell me some words that have the SH sound in it. So whatever word you can find with the SH sound, whenever you reach to that point, you will still have the sound being made that way. Sharp. Exactly. So Now you learn this sound right here, so this is just one sound that you learn. But you can use it in the word ship. You can use it in the word sharp. You can use it in the word shoe. You can use it in the word shoe. You can use it over and over and over. And as I have said to you prior, just now, whenever, right? Whenever you say these sounds, look how many sounds you're getting now with the SH sound. How many words with the SH sound? Shape, shark, Sheldon, shelf, Shelly. So people, if you can say these words, and when you do say these words, you make that shepherd, that sh sound, as if you're telling somebody to be quiet. People, would you agree? Sharing. People, on this live, the 59 to 60 hour over here, would you agree that when you do talk, you do make that sh sound when you use those words? Shy, sheen, and sheen was spelled the other way too. You have sheen in your way you put in your ear, and you have sheen when you go shop. Should. Now, I am going to go a bit off topic here, right? And I am going to bring to your attention what you probably never knew existed. She, right? Relax and comfort. Good to see you out here again this early. How the biz? Now, this is a bit off tangent, right? And most of we know that word. In fact, all of we might know that word. Now, my question to you is anything strange about sugar? Wonderful. It gives that sound, but it does not have no H. Right? And this is where English gets all of us. This is where the confusion starts. This is where the confusion comes in and sets in and never fades. Because now that you're like in a G-Bo, in a G-Bo class, man, welcome. So, as Ali mentioned, the word sugar, it is giving that sound, but it does not have the H on it, right? Which means that in this case, it is only the S that is making that sound in sugar. The S in sugar is making the sound like an SH without an H. So now it is more confusing to all who did I learn say the letter S make the sound S, because now you're going to read it with that sound, right? These are the exceptions that we talk about that we have to pay attention to. These are the exceptions that we have to remember and have memory about. The rest of it is just lone motor work in your brain. We're always going in this way. Always. We're always heading in this direction. Always. We're always starting with the first sound, then the second sound, then the third sound. That becomes the natural process in your brain. That becomes the natural process by which you're tempted to move by. Right? So, that's how I say, you know, get the kids them up to speed. Once we get the kids them up to speed, then now we can start learning them about sugar. Matter of fact, I would only tell them about sugar, and then when me tell them about sugar, what I mean know. But sugar is a tricky word. Sugar is a very tricky word, right? And it would have something to do with its root or origin as to why it sound the way it sound, right? Yes, guys, I hope you have learned something this morning. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for being here, your presence, holding the space and everything. So I hope you learned something this morning, guys. I hope that there is something from this live that you can take. You can implement it with yourself. You can implement it with your kids. And they can implement it with their friends, because we all know we have a lot of friends who struggle with reading. We all know that we have children who struggle with reading, right? So we want to get in a rhythm with them. We want to get in a consistent practice mode with them. So now it is not just only on the teachers. It is also on the parents. It is also on the transport personnel who bring them home. Not to say we are giving them a job, but we are make them know, say, yo, look here, I reading the thing there, bossy. So if you can give them look, what them call or something, the cocoa melon. If you can't even give them like a cocoa melon in the car, give them. If you can't give them like a segmenting in the car, give them. If you can't give them somebody that do some farm or something in the car, give it to them. So when them left school, right, on the way home, them still a practice without even a practice. So even when time them not hear it consciously, them still a hear it unconsciously. Then now they reach home back to them parents. When they reach home back to them parents now, them parents already know that they are supposed to be using these methods. So the parents would then now help them with these methods. So when them come back to school, them not come back and forget what the teacher teach them yesterday. Them go home, come back fresh and say, Miss, me ready. Them come back fresh, ready. Right? So that is my way of going about this thing. And I am sure that it works. Right? There's another thing that it does. Now, when we give them this, when we teach them that, when we learn them that, now this becomes handy. This is nothing but a paper. This is nothing but a paper molded into the shape of a book. Right? All you're seeing is nothing but words. But these are not just words. These are letters with sounds. So you practice B, O, because you know that this letter can say O. So you make them say O when them see this F. Whatever time them can recognize it. It makes two sounds, It makes O and O. Right? But I think O might be common. I'm not sure. I've never done a research on it to know which one is most common. But it makes two sounds. In put and in bus. Now, you put these two together. Not B-O, because that would be segmenting it. Now you have to flow them together. B. Then now you see this underline right here, sir? Why is it underlined? Because right here, you have two letters making one sound, and this is no different. So now we have three sounds that we can put together, just like this. B, O, B, Z. buzz. As easy as that. Right? O, fo, fun. As easy as that. It don't get any harder than that. K, I, ki, s, kiss. People, it don't get any harder than that. And then now, you can start to increasing it from 2 letters to 3. Because you do have 3 letters that make one sound. In the word pitch, in the word batch, in the word mitch, like you're saying mitch, in the word witch, you have 3 letters that is making one sound. You and the children would have to learn what sound these letters are making or what combination of letters makes what sound. So this is something that you will have to know. So yes, this is one part of it, but it does not complete the whole reading process. You're learning the principle here. You do the principle here. Once you get the principle here, then now you can start to add in more of these. Right? Now you can start to say, alright then, let me give you some more words because it fall within the criteria of one sound, one sound, one sound. So it would still appear as if you're still doing a CVC. But this time, you're doing not necessarily CVC, but initial, middle, and end. So the initial can be more than one sound, or more than one letters, and the ending can be more than one sound. Sorry, not sound, but more than one letters. So it works perfect. It works fine. You just have to believe. Not just believe, but you also have to practice. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Last night, I the same practice me did I do. This morning, I the same practice me I do. And if I come back later, I the same practice me I do. Tomorrow is going to be the same practice. A practice not change. I'm telling you, you know. You see, within 2 to 3 day time, I bet you don't forget this sound. You're going to say this sound so much that it creates its own mind in your mind. That's how much you're going to say it. So people, at church time now, you know. And by that I mean to be sending the offering. Because me I go around with the offering plate. So, send on I send. We accept it in the offering pot. Whatever like, whatever share, whatever coin, whatever, anything. I accept it in the offering pot. But people, really and truthfully, much appreciate the time coming out here. Much appreciate the participation. Much appreciate the drive and ambition to want to learn. Because where I am right now, it's practically just about to touch 6:30. And to be here at 6:30 and have people here with me at 6:30. Normally people are asleep or people are really interested in them thing at this early. So if you see that you guys come out here at this hour, it is, you know, it is truly appreciated, and it shows say you want to learn. It shows say you're interested for learning. It shows say, you know, you up to this thing. You know all about the entertainment and the hype and them thing there. Parish, big up yourself. You don't know. So, people, any last words, any closing comments, anything you want to say to me? Anything you want to, whatever the case may be. And people, you can follow me on YouTube as well. You can subscribe. You can go in at the link in my bio you can click the link there, okay, it's the YouTube, or you can click the other one, okay, to somewhere else. Just read. Just click about it, see what it's about, look about it. And just when you go on YouTube, just subscribe, leave a comment. Just go over YouTube, go drop a comment and say, yo, me rich. If I ever that. Yeah man, me rich. So, even this live is going to be a playback on YouTube at some point in time. So, those who want to watch the replay is there, will be there. There are some there already that you can go back and learn from. I am so sure that you can go back and learn from it, because I have gone back and I have learned from myself. Might sound crazy, but sometimes me like watching my videos too, because guess what? Me I learn something. I mean I learn something positive and conscious. So if me even forgot anything at all, me go back, go watch it, and me I'll relearn it again, and me I say, oh yeah man, that bad. The teacher you that bad. So that is my do for the day. I don't know what the future holds. I might be coming back, I might not be. But people, as I say, much appreciation and love. For those who want private classes, you can link up for your private classes. For those who want well, actually I'm not going to do a group class right now unless it's children. I will only do a children group class, not an adult group class. So if anybody wants to link up for private classes, then you can link up. Otherwise, keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing the videos, and have a good day. So people, let's wrap it up. And the people who there with me, like country, participate. Big up yourself. Charlene, big up yourself. We have Black Ivory. We have Relax and Comfort Designs and Decor. So people, when you can go check out Relax and Comfort Designs and Decor and see what's going on over there. Kurt Parish, big up yourself again. You see me? Country. We have Glam Care Salon. We have Miss Annette. We have Lala Bell. We have, who else have again? We have Ali. We have It's Sexy. We have Chrissy. We have God is God. God is good. We have, who else we have? Who me miss? Let's see who else me miss. We have Paka. I don't know Paka. Paka real general, no Paka there out there every time. Is it? Always a show love and support. Peter, big up yourself. Sexy boo. Miss Hope Hudson, big up yourself. I see you. Is it? And people, who me no big up? Big up on yourself. Anybody when I get a big up on yourself. New York City, big up yourself. Make sure you share up the link up there, Peter, so the people know so we in New York City as well. So, people, as I say, the day is for the making. Big up on yourself, Charlene. Big up yourself. So big up New York City again. Big up Miss Annette again. Big up Relax and Comfort again. Big up Aruba in the building. Karen in the building. Big up everybody. Everybody. We are big up. So people, go and go sit in the day right and make the best of it. Have a good day. They say Texas. Straight out of Texas. All the people are checking. Love that. So people, again, have a good day.